All right, all right.
Live. How am I looking?
And here we are on the podcast. I'm your host, Luis Montana, Big Louis V, and we're here
Woo!
with my co-host.
Hey, Justin Kime, Jay Kime, baby, in the flesh.
All right, and we are here to bring all kinds of sports news to you, from TV things, TV shows, movies, sports. Right now, the hot topic is the NFL draft. Justin, how did you feel? How did you think things went?
Man, well, first off, we can start with lots of things, but let's start with the new style, I guess, man. Virtual,
Yeah,
first year of seeing it virtual.
yeah,
Poor
that was
Roger
weird.
Goodell, he
Mhm.
looked worn out by, I think, round 4 through 7, man. I
Oh,
think I saw the meme of him sitting on the couch.
yeah, yeah. He was falling asleep. You're sitting there, you're calling pick after pick after pick, and you're comfortable in your own couch. It just, you know,
Usually, I think they bring in like former football players to call those later round picks, don't they? When the
yeah,
show's live,
give him a little break.
give him a little break time. He had no break time this past couple of years, this year, man.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
it was cool though. I'm glad they did it, especially with how things have been recently with the coronavirus and all
Yeah,
that.
terrible. We can't get outside anymore. Can't have groups of people. So you got to do what you got to do. We got to
There's
still have football, right? Let's hope. Let's
well,
hope at the end of the day.
there's nothing cool to watch or nothing, and that was the first thing in a while where it felt like it was normal again, or
Exactly. Even
something.
virtual, it just felt good to throw. I usually don't watch the draft too much, but it felt good to throw on something and see some future football players, possibly some future stars, in the league.
Well, speaking of one of them, what about Burrows and the Bengals? That
Joe Burrow. I mean, you got if you're the Bengals, you got to take the best quarterback available. Andy
Mhm.
Dalton is unfortunately not who he used to be, and he's on his way out. Not that Joe Burrow. I don't know if they plan on starting him right away or not, but
Yeah.
after coming off that season last year, I don't think you have much to lose, and you kind of got to go with your first overall pick.
Well, he looks ready. And well, speaking of people being ready, we got our special guest, William A.
Oh man,
Smith,
my
William
man in
Mitchell,
the
coming on in. Here we go.
house.
Right on time.
Perfect.
Right on
It's
time.
PA.
He's connecting.
Let's wait for it. Can
He's
you hear
coming
us,
on.
Mitch?
Yep, he's coming in.
There he
Will,
is.
Will Smith, Willie A. Mitchell, how's it going, my man?
It's going good. How you doing?
Doing good. We just got on the topic of Burrows and the Bengals, picking him up. You think this is the next star coming to take over the league by storm? Is he going to be the savior for the Bengals?
I mean, he had a good year with LSU, but I still got to see it happen when it happens. You know what I'm saying? I always
Right.
say he couldn't beat out Dwayne Haskins at Ohio State, so he had a magical team, magical season at LSU, but I got to see how it does with the Bengals. And I don't know if AJ Green's going to play for them this year.
Do you think
Yeah,
he
right.
starts right away, or you think they're going Andy Dalton to start the season and putting this guy, a second string, or
He's
Overall,
starting.
he starts off Bucks.
you
He
go
Yeah.
right
starts
away with the man, right? That's what I would
right
say.
away.
You never
Right.
know.
I would be blown away if they did a little him rookie year sitting on the
I mean,
bench.
Andy Dalton. I mean, he's not a star anymore, but he's no, bum. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to, let him sit out a year, maybe.
I
You know
think
how
they need
teams
to
are, man.
let Redhead take a seat and let the star.
Take a seat.
I don't know if he's going to be on the team.
Yeah.
They're shipping him off probably.
No, he
Probably
might
a
be
good
gone.
idea.
He definitely might be gone.
Definitely. I mean, you got your quarterback for the future. Why not let him go?
Yeah. Well, getting off of that, we can move on to the Redskins on pick number 2 with Chase Young. I don't know, man. This guy really could change the defense, or things could just be, like a big
I mean, it's the
trash can.
Redskins. You never know with the Redskins. But all I got to say is when I heard draft day comparisons to Julius Peppers and Jadavion, I can't even say his name,
Yeah.
Jadavion Clowney,
Yeah.
I got excited. That's
Oh
two
yeah.
big names. That's two superstars on the line. Definitely you can win championships building a defensive line. And that new defensive line in Washington is going to be something serious.
Don't play the 49ers. We're trying the 49ers way. Whole D-line of first-round picks. That's
Whole
how you
D
got
line. You can't go wrong. I saw they possibly could put him at outside linebacker, though. I don't know with the edge rush and you know how the Redskins they run 3-4. So
they compared him to Clowney the whole time. He can end up doing stuff like that. And
exactly. Yep.
the kid's a monster. You can see
man.
here. You know.
Look at that. Oh, look at that speed. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Woo.
And it's like the high school coaches teach you: strip that ball and be a hero. And he got that down.
Hey, man, that's your time to shine. That's your time to shine as a defensive lineman right there.
It's like, God, man, there's so many of those moments can make or break a game. This guy seems like he's got it.
Just too much speed off the edge. He didn't even get touched on that play.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, that's against Rutgers, but, you know, it is what it is.
I mean, you better be – if you're not doing that against those teams, you know.
Right? Hey, that's
not
the
meant
truth,
to be.
Lou. That's the truth.
Exactly. He, you know.
Definitely something to be excited about. You know, I'm glad they didn't try to go pick an offensive That's what the Redskins do in the past, man. They go with the safe pick and a tackle or something like that. You know, you got to go with the best player available at the time. And at that time, with the second overall pick, it was definitely Chase Young.
He's from the area. He's from Maryland.
Maryland, man, coming back home. He was already in D.C. for the draft, so
right.
Already posted up in D.C. He knew he was coming home.
Man,
scared me. I got to say, the Redskins did scare me when they were talking about possibly trading that pick. I mean, that would have been typical Redskins right there. That would have been like, okay. What are we doing? You know, this is the Redskins that have been the same Redskins for the past 5 or 6 years. So, you know, I'm glad we at least kept our pick and got a good player out of it.
All I was hearing on the DC sports radio is that we're going to trade with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to give us their picks. We're going to take. I'm like, there's no way, man.
No way.
It's safe where it is, and no one's taking Tua ahead. We're the only ones that were going to take that risk with Tua.
I mean, last season was already bad enough to watch. I mean, if we were to give away our pick, we already had to go through the season, and then we got a good pick out of that season. Then we gave that pick away. Oh, my goodness, man.
Oh,
my goodness.
It would have been just how your guys' franchise is and how –
exactly, man, exactly.
Jesus.
But on Redskins topic, I can't believe they gave away Trent Williams for a third and a fourth round pick. Like, I don't have the exact facts, but I think it was a third and a fifth round pick to San Francisco.
Yeah.
They knew
I was an all-pro or an all Pro Bowl tackle for years, man. And that's all we can get for the guy.
What do they know, Mitch?
He had big beef with the front office. He was ready to.
He did. Him and Bruce Allen,
he didn't like how they handled his medical records, and
exactly.
He had a right to still with them, so he was ready to sue them and everything. So they just had to get him out of town, and then
had to get him out of town. But last year, I remember last draft we were talking about trading him possibly for a first-round pick last year, and then our Bruce Allen was just so stubborn and stuck in his ways, and you know we didn't even end up getting anything for him. He said, "I'm not going to pay him. He can sit out this year. You know, it is what it is." And what do you know? We don't even get anything for him, and then he sits out all last season. So we're the losers, definitely, in that situation.
Typical Redskins fashion, definitely.
Typical Redskins fashion. Thankfully, he's gone, Mr. Allen.
Bruce Allen is not with the team anymore either.
Yeah, he's not with the team. Thankfully, he's out of town. So hopefully, stuff like that, you know, leaves with him as a Redskins fan.
Yeah, for real, God.
What about your boys in Miami?
Yeah, man.
That first round pick.
Yep, I was getting to that.
Well, you don't sound like you're so excited.
I am. I was excited when I saw it. That was the pick I wanted. That's what we like to call the sexy pick in the draft. You know, that's the name. That's the guy you want. That's the guy who's won championships. That, you know, we needed a quarterback, so that's the guy. I'm glad we took him, and
definitely.
And you know, hopefully he can be that guy to make something happen and bring a different kind of flair and something to the locker room. But I don't know, man. You know, we'll see. I'm getting a lot of hate and a lot of, you know, I've heard, you know, with his workouts and whatnot. You know, he's not, you know. He's been compared to Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. Oh, man. He has a little Tim Tebow-esque in him, we can say.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I don't know.
Call him the left-handed Russell Wilson.
The left-handed. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, man, that's a compliment.
I mean, yeah, I would take that over.
Absolutely.
Hey, without that hip injury, he would be for the Bengals right now.
Very true. You could
Oh
definitely
yeah.
argue that. You could definitely argue that.
I mean, but when you look at what he did in college, it's like he was throwing dimes. He was looking great. So how can you
Looking
complain?
great, against the bigger teams like Georgia. He struggled a little bit. Those are the NFL teams. You got to think. You got to cut out his scrambling. Is this guy, does he have Lamar Jackson speed, Michael Vick speed? No. So he's not going to be able to scramble, in my opinion. Is he going to be able to scramble in the NFL, you think, Lewis?
I
Is
mean,
he going to be a guy who runs for 60, 70 yards and a touchdown in a game?
it can happen, definitely. Like
He's got footwork, but
Yeah.
I don't. He doesn't have that top end speed like a Lamar to where you can just blow away those defenders. College, you can get away with it a little bit, but I think he's going to be more of a pocket. He's going to have to be a pocket.
Has to be, yeah.
And I just don't. I mean, I hate to hate on the guy, but I just don't see that him being as successful being a pocket passer in the NFL. But I could be completely wrong. There's been people who have shot other quarterbacks, who have shocked people and done more.
I used to say that like with Deshaun Watson when he came in. I thought he was going to be that guy breaking off and running around and doing this and that. And then, he ended up really showing he could still pass and break off and do things.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, I think he's probably got a little more speed than Tua. But, you got to give him a shot. I think that's the best pick the Dolphins could have went with, right? There's a lot of risk in that pick, but, you didn't have a good season. You haven't made the playoffs in a couple years. I think that's the best pick you go with right there. I don't think he plays much. I don't like that they're saying that now, that he's not going to play much. I think if you draft a guy at, 5th overall, I mean, why you got to give him at least a shot in the first year, right? Why are we taking these guys top 5 picks if they're not going to make an impact right away? What do you think?
Well, no, I hear that. There's still a little talk of them being scared of his injury, injury and whatnot. But apparently he's saying he feels better than ever and he's perfectly fine. So, it could go many ways.
I imagine he hasn't played football in a while. He should be feeling pretty dang good.
Exactly. But, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a couple games, Fitzpatrick starts and then –
Exactly. I think you start – at the end of the last season, there was a little bit of Fitzmagic left you could see. When they first started him, not much. But, they were going through Rosen, giving Fitzmagic. I mean, it was just all over the place. I think once he settled in to the starter's role last year, you saw he's got a little bit of Fitzmagic left in him. Not much, but he's got a little bit.
Well, I mean, when you got nothing to lose in a season in shambles,
then you end up beating New England and ruining their season. Last week of the season, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'll take that into my grave along with whooping those Eagles in that one game as well. That was just true. And that felt good to rub that in every local Eagles fan's face. That was beautiful.
What about getting his stand on Dolphins picks? They went right after that with the 18th overall with your boy Austin Jackson from USC.
Yeah, man.
What do you think about that guy's story, man? Can't beat that.
That was nice, man. Because at first I wanted another sexy-esque pick. I wanted Swift. I wanted something to help in that backfield. I don't always get excited about linemen getting picked up, but when you need them, and you got to make smart picks. That's fine. And
you got to protect Tua in some way,
if I'm wrong, who was it? The Cardinals that got the other lineman? Who was the one that got picked up earlier before?
The Browns picked the lineman, and the Jets picked the tackle, and the Giants picked the tackle.
Right. So, I mean, he was one of the, I guess.
Picked the tackle too, so he was the 5th best tackle.
Yeah. So, top 5 in the lineman. So,
I mean, look at all of it. That's a lot of tackles going off the board in the top 20 picks.
Yeah,
this is tackle-heavy first round, if you think about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can say they were stacked with good linemen to pick from. So I mean, I liked his story though. That's a heck of a brother, man.
Very touching. Did the bone marrow transplant with his sister.
Yeah.
That's stuff that you like to hear on draft day. Definitely, man. You like to hear for those guys and their personal stories, and you pull for those guys for sure. He's not a Redskin. He's not on my favorite team by any means, but I hope he definitely has a a successful career in the NFL.
Yeah, man, he's a big boy, man. Holy
Big
cow!
boy.
You know?
I can't believe this guy did a bone marrow transplant and was starting in week 1 of the college football season like 50 days later, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough son of a gun right there.
Well, that'll speak for his character. And
Exactly. And you want guys like that in the NFL, man. You
Yeah.
got those character stories. You know he's got good character.
Yeah.
He thinks about more than just himself. You know, if he's doing a transplant for his sister, he's not just a me person. You know, you really see that in his character.
Yeah, he you know, I'm sure he can come and bring something to that line because, like I said, that the team was in shambles, and that line was even, you know, the biggest shamble of them all. That was bad. So
You got to think he's starting right away, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
first round pick, 18th overall.
Yeah.
You got to come in and make an impact right now, big boy.
Yeah, and along with him, like I mean, we've had so many damn picks this freaking draft. We got
Guys were loaded. Loaded. Right after that, you went with the 30th overall, I think it was.
Yeah, we got the Noah from Auburn, who's got the heck of a last name that's fun to pronounce.
That last name. Does anyone want to give that a shot?
I won't even butcher it.
Don't want to butcher it. Too bad. But hey, man, 4.48 40. He's not very tall. Doesn't have many. He only had one. That's my one concern was one career interception with Auburn, man. He started 3 years. That's good to hear. You know, a 3-year starter in SEC school. Yeah. Great to hear. But, you know, one career pick. But I guess that, you know, maybe many people aren't throwing his way. I don't know.
Sometimes, man, you didn't get that chance.
Richard Sherman says, man, and they don't look your way, you know, you're not going to get the stats. So you never know. You know, they said out of all their first-round grades, he had the best. I think they graded him almost close to an A. So, you know.
Yeah, you know, he got an A+ in
this
draft. So, you know, we'll see. But then I'm looking one more for the Dolphins. We can go back on some of the Redskins picks. And I liked on a defensive line pick with Raekwon Davis with Alabama. You know,
can't go wrong. That was the last one I wanted to talk about for the Dolphins. A solid Bama pick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy. I think the Dolphins had a solid draft if you look at it, man. You know, this was a big draft for the Dolphins right here. You know, these picks got to pan out for you guys, man. You can't sit here and
gave up the whole season for pretty much all these picks. So, you know,
these were picks. You know, you guys have had trades in the years past and stuff. So you guys built this. This was a draft coming for a little while now.
A time coming, yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So you guys were waiting for this draft. You know, you guys definitely loaded up. Got some risky picks in there, but hey, man, if they pan out, you know, y'all be looking for, especially with Tom Brady out of the East, right? Anything can happen.
Yeah, now that we can definitely try.
Anything can happen now that the Brady and Belichick era is over in that division.
Well, let's talk more with the Redskins picks. You guys got a wide receiver later on in that draft.
Yeah. Antonio Gibson out of Memphis.
We got some highlights for him.
No, a wide receiver, Mitch. It was funny. I finally found out why they called they think Roger Goodell called running back on draft day.
Running back. It threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, he called running back. So I got this guy's stats right here. His senior year, in 8 games, they played 14 in Memphis. Out of 8 of those games, he started. He had 38 receptions in the first 4 games for 735 yards. I could be wrong, but halfway through the year, he switched to running back and had 33 carries for 369 yards and 4 touchdowns. So this guy's versatile, man. He's he can freaking catch the ball, he can run the ball. And then they said he was a punt returner and a kick returner for Memphis. So he had
I heard
a kick
that
return
too.
touchdown. This guy apparently can do it all. So 38 receptions for 735 yards his senior year, 33 carries for 369 yards, and some kick return touchdown. You can't go wrong with that.
Small either. 6'6", 221. He's not small either.
Not a small guy, man. You know, we need impact players. I'll tell you that in DC. We need impact players right away. You know, we don't need some guys, some prospects, some
What's that wide receiver core looking like? You still rocking with Paul Richardson and
No. We're on to McLaurin, Sims. We're going to all the young guns, which is smart. You know, I hope honestly at this point, if we didn't draft a quarterback, so I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be in DC this next year.
Kyle Allen.
But I mean, you got to start Haskins and give him the green light. Like, hey, you're starting week 1. Like, let it be
There's no
known.
questions going into this season. They had the quarterback last year that they tried to make him wait behind, but now everything's good to go.
Exactly. He did the first game he started or didn't start, but came in first playing time he got last year was against the Giants at halftime. Game he wasn't even supposed to be playing in. He comes in at halftime, doesn't do that great, and then Dan Snyder and them are sitting back there like, yeah, we told you so. He shouldn't be starting. It's like, no, like give this man the green light. Hey, you're our guy. We're going with you week 1. Let him prep all training camp, all that time before the season starts to get ready to be the starter, and we might see a different guy from him. But
I hope so for your guys.
Just optimistic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Keenum. I love him to death, man. But it's just done. That era is over with, man. We need a quarterback that's going to move a little bit, make plays on his feet, and definitely not Case Keenum.
What's Kyle Allen doing then? He's just going to be chilling, riding the pine this whole time? He's
That's
not going to –
completely fine, yeah. They all I just need Haskins to be in to start off the season. If you give me 3 games with Haskins and we're 1-2 or 0-3 and he's been looking bad, maybe the first 4 – then we'll go from there. But,
What's up with Darius Geis? Is he still lingering with you guys?
He's going to be the man. I mean, he's supposed to be healthy this year. So, he was plagued by injuries last year. Still put up good, decent numbers for being plagued by injuries. So,
yeah,
we'll see. I want 100% healthy Geis, but, that he hasn't proved that he can do that yet. So,
right. Well,
shall see.
Still other very interesting picks. One that I was waiting for a long time in that draft, and finally the Eagles pick up Jalen Hurts. Oh man, that's just a lot can go on with that one.
A lot can go on with that. You hear that they're going to run Taysom Hill pack. I don't know if is he as tough as a guy as him? Is he going to run guys over at the line of scrimmage and run through NFL guys?
100%.
100%, Mitch.
100%. There we go.
That was a smart pick by the Eagles, right there.
I do think it fits well because Carson Wentz hasn't proved he can stay healthy either.
That guy at all.
He's Mr. Injury.
No. I said it from the first thing I thought when they picked him up. I'm like, all right, this is going to happen. Wentz gets hurt every damn year. He's going to get put on. He's going to get hurt. Jalen's going to come in, and he's just going to end up being the starter and take over and make big moves happen. That guy's a winner. He's a stud. He leaves Alabama. He goes to the Sooners and just freaking takes off.
He's a winner, man.
No, yeah. I like him a lot. But I don't know how other Eagles fans can feel about this. Maybe we can try and get some more on the podcast and they can give us their input. But
give us their input from the Phillies' perspective.
They're paying this man Wentz over $100 million. I'm sure they'd be all invested in him. But.
They also they picked a wide receiver in the first round too. Who was that again? I forget who that pick was.
I didn't get it. Who was it? Jefferson. Who was it?
No, he went the next pick.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think they picked up someone who I thought they could have picked up other wide receivers that were a bigger name than this guy before him, but I guess they might have saw something in him that other teams didn't see.
He's going to fill the Aguilar slot because they lost Nelson Aguilar this offseason.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Brought in a speedy receiver that they hope from TCU. Hope he can give them punt return and kick return and maybe catch the ball this season too.
Right.
Yeah, I tell you, towards the end of the season last year, they were depleted, man. They didn't have no one out there. I think Alshon was hurt. They all were hurt, man. I think they had like 3 or 4 tight ends playing at one time.
Yeah, that team definitely is the one that gets plagued with injuries every year. It's crazy they won the Super Bowl that one year. I think everyone just, even with Wentz getting hurt again, they come in and they still win. So it's really sucky.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
That's a whole nother topic.
Bro. But What was the other picks?
All around, though, good draft. I mean, it looks like we got some players that could possibly make a difference right away, from teams.
Oh, well, speaking of people making a difference, you think Gronkowski and Brady going to the Bucks is going to make much of a difference?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one. You got questions of the line. They picked up a lineman. I don't know. I mean, they're making moves out there. They got a lot of threats. But, I mean, look at the Browns last year, before last season, when they had all these guys, Odell, Baker, Chubb, all these guys lined up. And sometimes, it takes more than just a couple good names, man. But they got a good coach out there, Bruce Arians. I like him, man. I like what he does. So,
right.
I think they definitely got a chance. Definitely got a chance in the South to compete. I'm looking forward to seeing Drew Brees and Tom Brady matchups twice a year. I mean, I don't know about anybody else.
Oh, that'll be nice. What do you think about the Bucks, Mitch?
I think that seeing other teams make them, I think they could be second in that NFC South. I still favor Drew Brees and the Saints because of everything they've gone through. I mean, he's been there since he's left the Chargers. So I think the Saints definitely still probably win that division. But I think Tom gives them a pretty good punch, and they get the second. But there's also that extra playoff spot this year. I even see the Falcons maybe making a run for the playoffs. I got 3 teams from the NFC South making the playoffs this year in that NFC division.
3 teams from one division.
Yeah, wow.
We heard it here first.
Spots, I got 3 teams from that South. Because this is make it or break it too for those Falcons, Matt Ryan and Julio and them boys.
Yeah.
Definitely make or break for them Falcons this year. That's for sure. Adding Todd Gurley to the mix. Do you think he gets a lot of carries in Atlanta? They were a pass-heavy offense last year. Does he even make a big difference for the Falcons this year, or do they just kind of stick to the same script they stuck to?
I think it's same script. Sad to say, that's just a name in a jersey. Sad to say right now.
Yeah, it's just a name in a jersey, man. I mean, Freeman, they did – obviously Freeman, another great football player plagued by injuries last season, but, they didn't even put him to much use when they had him. So
we'll see what happens.
I mean, they got the players. I mean, anytime you got Julio and Ridley out there on the edge, you got Gage out there now. I mean, you got some threats. Definitely got some threats. Julio, the numbers he's going to give you.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that can happen with them. There's a lot that can happen. Well, that's just the interesting area there now when you got the Bucks.
That's a division up for grabs. I mean, I think if you look at the NFC, I mean, all of them. So the South, who wins the South next year right now from the top of your head? It really could be a couple teams. Who wins the East right now? Could be a couple teams.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple divisions in the NFC.
The NFC East division, we'll see how that goes.
That's proved for the past couple of years that it don't take much to win. It's going to take a good divisional record. What you do outside the division doesn't matter in that division much, but if you have a good divisional record, you're going to win that division.
Well,
so that's what – if I'm a Redskins fan this year, I don't care if we lose to all these outside of our division teams, man. And when it comes to playing the Cowboys, the Eagles, we better beat them, man. Well, make those NFC East games count.
Speaking of the Cowboys, do we got CeeDee Lamb being the next big thing over there, adding to that wide receiver core?
I mean, Dak threw for, 4,000 yards almost last year? I think he eclipsed 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
So you add in
one of my favorites.
What is it? You got Gallup, Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. Whew.
Oh,
that might be in my new Madden team right there. That's some threats on the outside.
You can't track the box anymore, so Zeke's going to run free this season.
Yes. I didn't even mention Zeke. You got all these threats on the outside, and you got Zeke back there, man.
Oh. How do we feel about him snatching the phone out of his girlfriend's
hand? What a time. I mean, what was that? Was she trying to snoop through that right there?
Nope, give me that. What's wrong with you?
You got 2 phones. Look. Did he get a notification or something that what went through her mind right there grabbing that phone?
Oh, my God. That is so funny. I'm telling you, she just was excited as much as he was.
Excited. maybe she was like, man, this is my time to take that phone. He's not going to fight back on TV. I've tried to do this many times before, and it's not going to happen.
Camera's on you now.
Camera's on you now. You can't snatch it from me.
No, I hope she's not that sick, but these ladies can get very nasty when it comes to the phone.
Very nasty, but she seemed to laugh it off. Maybe it's something we don't even think of. You know what I'm saying? It's probably something that we're all blowing up and blowing out of proportion.
I'm sure Mitch knows this. That Trae Young, was he dating this chick before all this happened?
Is that true or is that a rumor?
There are pictures that she was with Trae Young before, and Trae Young went to Oklahoma. Trae Young from Oklahoma.
He posted a tweet on draft day saying, he said something like, he tweeted the video of CD snatching the phone and did like the eyes emoji or something. Yeah. So he was geeking about it.
He posted a picture of them two, looked like they were at prom or something.
Yeah, that was probably his youngin', man. They were young.
Oh my God, that was funny. That really had me geeking big time.
Yeah, man. All around though, I just hope we're back to the normal draft next year. Virtual is good for 1 year, but I don't think I could do another year. Roger Goodell in this basement.
Man was falling asleep.
Honestly.
And stumbling on his words.
He's sitting like this in the 4th or 7th round. Okay, from University of South Carolina.
I don't care. If I'm getting drafted, last thing I want is this man lounging.
If I'm that player, I want him stood up, properly. Yeah. Like, this is who we're drafting, man. I don't want him lounge back with the beer in his hand, man, just calling my name out. He's calling wrong positions for some guys, man. It's like, come on.
Yeah, that was very funny. I was geeking a lot seeing that. And then it was funny. I was at work and I was playing the draft on my phone, and they seemed to add all kind of little things in there. It was like a guy singing country music during the draft. It's blaring, and everyone's like, "Hey man, you listen to country?" I'm like, "Oh, it's draft, man. They're doing all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of new things."
Yeah, but we could sit here all day talking about the NFL and whatnot, but with all the good sports news and things going on, the hot topic of mine that I would like to bring up to Justin, who's the UFC specialist here, is the Battle Island.
Fight Island.
Yes.
And it's been in the talks for a little while now. I think the next couple of UFC events are definitely going to be in Florida. Obviously, starting with UFC 249, we'll get into that fight card, which we're all so excited about.
Yeah.
But next couple of events will definitely be in Florida, and I think this is something for the long term because we don't know. I think Dana White knows something maybe we don't know. Stuff's not going to get back to normal. I mean, he can't have every fight in Florida. He's gonna. I think this is the place to hey man, he's gonna build facilities out there, hotels. It's going to take some time, but Dana White, when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. That's for sure.
I think because he was saying they're going to have an octagon on the beach.
An octagon on the. I don't know. You can't host a.
That would be so.
How do you host a fight what if it's 100 degrees that day? I'm that fighter. I'm going to him like, yo, what the hell, man? I fight in air conditioning in an arena. I'm not fighting out here in this blazing sun, not a tree in sight, any shade. Like I'm a little mad if I'm fighting there, But the whole idea to it, I think, is gonna definitely intrigue people, to tune in. Definitely get the fighters excited. All the fighters, man, they're anxious to fight. At least from what I'm hearing, they're all ready to go. I hear he's running the first 3 weeks back to back in May. Man. With fights.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Jeez.
Boom, boom, boom. Now that Florida's opening up to sports events and he's got his green lights, I mean, he's going an aggressive schedule.
What's the first one coming in May? What's that date?
UFC 249. I don't have the exact date on me. I'd have to pull it up.
It's fine, but there's a couple good fights that we were talking about. There was
the first week of May. What is May 9th? Okay. No, yeah, May 9th.
That's the day, May 9th.
Yeah.
May 9th. Yeah, that's going to be a good one, man. You got everyone fighting in that, from prelims to main card. I mean, he sized us. So,
what are your favorite ones on there?
For the prelims, the only one the prelims is a stacked card. We can get into all the other fighters. You got to be a pretty big UFC fan to know about some of these littler name fighters, but a big prelim fight that sticks out to me and should stick out to everyone is Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Anthony Showtime Pettis, man, the main event of the prelims.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy, unfortunately, is coming off a 3-fight losing streak, all to Connor, Justin Gaethje, and Tony Ferguson, which are fighting for the interim belt that same night.
Yeah.
And Pettis, who's coming off two fight losses in a row, one to Nate Diaz and one to Diego Faria.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an undefeated UFC fighter, an up-and-comer, but, for a big name like Showtime Pettis, this is a must-win fight for both guys if you look at it in my eyes, man. I mean, one guy's coming off a 3-fight losing streak, the other guy a 2.
Yeah.
Someone's got to break the skid right here.
No, I'm sure it'll definitely, because those guys, they're tough, man. They always put on a pretty good show.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Cerrone, I love him to death. You can argue this is if he loses another one 4 in a row at his age, he's fought. He's proved everything he's need to prove in the UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely going to start hearing if he loses this one, those retirement whispers. And I love Cerrone, so, I hope that's not the case. But, the prelim card is stacked. You got Aliski, Oleinik, and Fabricio Verdum in the heavyweight, Carla Esparza and Michelle Watterson, a women's strawweight bout, and then Uriah Hall and Ronaldo Saza, a middleweight bout to get all fights that should I would be surprised if they go the distance, any of them. Honestly, they should end pretty quick.
Please, let me see that. Gosh,
always good. I know Lewis, man. Anytime I have him over at my house at the fights, if they pass the first round, we start hearing the boos. So
I'm getting put to sleep, man. I don't want to see a hug fest on the ground.
Hug fest
drives me crazy.
But we get into the main card after that. Stacked main card. First fight. You got Greg Hardy versus Jorgen De Castro, a heavyweight fight. Mitchie Hardy, our man from the NFL. Is he gonna be a star in the UFC one day?
He wants to be. He even said he wants to live on Fight Island.
He wants to. Yeah, he lives in his gym right now, I believe. I mean, he could have moved. He's won some big fights recently, so I'm sure he's not in the same circumstances he was. But I know not long ago he was living in his gym in a little bunk bed, training MMA 24/7 almost, man. So
taking it serious.
A guy who's got domestic violence past, you gotta commend him for that, man. He's sitting here trying to make his life better.
Yeah.
Can't fault the man. He's coming off a big win over Alexander Volkov, who was a top 5, top 10 UFC heavyweight. So I'm anxious to see what they do with him. I think they're kind of setting him up to build his record up now, because he came from a big fighter and now he's fighting an unranked fighter. So it's kind of like, what are they doing with him? But I think Dana White knows what he's doing, and he sees a future star in this guy. So he's going to try to build him up, kind of pad his record a little bit with some not as big name fighters, and kind of get this guy going in the UFC.
I'm definitely going to tune into that one.
Definitely. Again, I don't see that fight. I mean, with Greg Hardy, he's got tons of first-round finishes. I don't see that fight going the distance. Then right after that, we jump into a featherweight bout, a top 10 fight with Jeremy Stephens and Calvin Kattar. Stephens is on a 3-fight losing streak, man, all against 3 studs. So, he's got to turn it around right there. Calvin Kattar, he's 4-1 in his last fight. So he's kind of like that new name fighter coming up, that they're the new breed UFC fighters they've been talking about. So, I'm thinking Vegas has Kattar to win that fight. I think Kattar wins that fight, but with Jeremy Stephens, you never know. That guy, in Jeremy Stephens' last 5 fights, he's fought Jose Aldo, Yair Rodriguez, Zabit. I mean, all top 10 guys, this guy's fighting all the time. So anytime you got a guy fighting big name guys like that, you never know. Never know what's going to happen.
And then there was a couple other ones I was excited for.
Right after that, you got the big boys, man. A heavyweight bout with Francis Ngannou and Biggie Boy. Our boy Biggie from me and Lewis went and saw him fight in D.C.
Oh, man.
Biggie Boy, I mean, he destroyed that guy's lip. You remember the picture of his lip?
Yeah, Alistair Overeem. That was a huge picture all over ESPN.
Over.
This guy comes out. He had the African crowd behind him. There was just so many of them there. That and they were going crazy, screaming. Everyone had their shirts. I was very surprised with the little following he had. He comes in, they're going at it, and I was like, we got to get out of here. It's DC. It's the last fight. We need to get home. And then it was a snooze fest like through the whole fight.
That's what I was gonna say. That fight worries me because Ngannou. I think of the fight when he fought Derek Lewis. I mean, this fight on paper looks good. I mean, two big boys gonna go at it, but the last time Ngannou was supposed to fight Derek Lewis, that fight was just the snoozer of the year. So this fight on paper, great. Wow, I love it. But I'm telling you, I think I might call this one. It could be a possible snooze fest. Again, like you said, if it doesn't go past the first round or two, then I hope you're not having a blanket and a bag of popcorn. You might fall asleep.
Yeah, and a few beers. Jeez. No, I remember him getting built up in what was that pay-per-view we saw him? We went out to eat and watch him fight. I'm trying to remember which one that was, and he just
the Ngannou. Which you talk about, Francis?
Yeah, and he ended up losing that one.
Yeah, Stipe. That was the heavyweight.
Yes. Yep.
With the good old beat-ups, man. What I would do to go out to a public restaurant and
just to watch a freaking fight real fast. Yeah. No, but
that could be a possible snoozer, man. But honestly, let's just hope it's one of those nights of UFC fights where they're just rolling. We're getting knockouts after knockouts, man. And I think that's what Dana White's setting this card up to be. Right after that fight, we're getting into the co-main event. We got our boy Henry Cejudo and fighting Dominic Cruz. Cejudo's on his title run right now through the bantamweight division, fighting unranked. Well, Dominic Cruz, the guy hasn't fought in 4 years. Last time he fought was against Cody No Love.
Yes.
So you saw that fight. He became a No Love fan that night.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I've heard of him somewhat from the Ultimate Fighter show, and then they're coming in with that fight, and I was like, all right, I'm all in. Let me see. Because was that the same when they were arguing about like his girlfriend? Like he said,
calling him, I forget what he said.
He said something about your girlfriend on Twitter.
Keep her on a leash or something like
that.
Yeah.
Oh man, and he was.
Well, how about Cruz? He hasn't fought since 2016. He talks himself into a title fight with. I mean, you got to argue the biggest bantamweight superstar right now that the UFC has.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone can come in 4 years and put in a good fight, it's definitely Dominic Cruz. I mean, in 2016, before he had lost to Cody No Love, he had wins against Uriah Faber and TJ Dillashaw. I mean, he stole the belt from Dillashaw that same year he lost to Cody No Love. Right. So, and he was coming off a 2-year layoff that year. 2 years. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Is that – what were you saying that night that Cody was doing? Louis,
I was trying to find a clip of it, but the whole time he's just dancing around him and dancing. Oh, God, it was just that's what I want to see. I wanted some entertainment. I want to feel like I'm watching something that's just like a show.
You see right here, Dominic Cruz is very unorthodox. He can throw right and left.
Yeah.
So Cejudo, though, he's on a run. I honestly think the UFC is kind of setting up Cruz to be a little stepping stone for Cejudo right now to kind of keep his run going. They know, listen, man, he's coming off wins over, Marlon Morales and TJ Dillashaw, 2 big names. Let's kind of keep this guy hot and keep his winning streak going.
He's got 2 belts?
He has 2 belts. Yeah. He's got the strawweight, which he stole from Demetrius, but that division's pretty much done unless he decides he wants to defend it. But I think he's moved on now and knows his money's in the bantamweight division. So I really, don't see him doing much defending down there for the strawweight title.
Mitch, you got the Vegas odds on this pay-per-view? Who's got the number?
I think I got them right. I can pull them up really quick. Let's switch over.
Yeah, Mitch, I'm sure you're missing these fight nights in Vegas.
No, man, I'm missing it.
You guys see him, or are you seeing me?
I see him. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. We start right here with our Greg Hardy, and like I said, you're gone to Castro. Hardy's the favorite in that one.
Yeah.
Going into Calvin Kattar Stevens. Kattar's the favorite, -264. Nagano versus Biggie Boy. You got
Yeah.
your boy Francis, the favorite, at -278.
Okay.
Cejudo again, -250, a pretty good favorite over Cruz.
Yeah.
And then Ferguson. I'm surprised. I thought Ferguson would be like a -250, -260.
Yeah.
Personally, we'll get into talking about that fight, but I think Ferguson, that's a lock win for Tony Ferguson in that interim title bout.
Yeah, definitely. I got nothing but respect for him. The man's a monster.
Yeah, I mean that fight. For the title fight that week, we got Tony and Gaethje. Tony's on that 12-fight winning streak in the UFC. He's hungry, man. He wants to fight Khabib. He's the only crazy guy I know in that lightweight division who wants to fight Khabib. I think everyone kind of avoids him, and he can't buy that fight with Khabib to save its life. It's been canceled 4 different times. Can you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
And all mainly because Khabib. Not one of them has been because of Tony, except the last one before this. Yeah,
He's being difficult, or
I mean, he apparently went to Russia, and he can't come out of Russia now because they're on quarantine lockdown. So they had to go with Gaethje, and Gaethje's a brawler, man. He's coming off 2 knockouts to where he just put these guys to sleep. I mean, you'll see that guy. He goes in there. I mean, he says it's kill or be killed. He's ready to die in there. And you see, man, he throws. He gets hit in the face. He doesn't give a F about what happens in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good fight. I honestly think Tony kind of drags that fight into the later rounds, like the 4th, 5th round. You might see a submission victory, a tap out, something along those lines.
Take it to the ground and
take it. You're not going to see Tony Ferguson putting him to sleep by any means. You'll see him, take him to those deep waters and probably end up choking him out or something like that. But yeah, I mean, all in all, that card's stacked. I don't know about you guys, but I'm anxious to watch some sports. Do a little betting on some sports, man. I mean, it's been a while, so
So you'll be able to go and put in bets for that, Midge?
Yeah, you'll be able to bet on this fight.
Yeah, you're gonna make any bets just to get out there and get back in the mix again?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know you missed that basketball season, so this is definitely a nice little replacement. Get some money, right?
Hopefully, all these sports start back up soon, man.
Yeah, this whole thing has just been ridiculous. I'm ready to go back to normal. I want to make moves normally again. It's just
what's gonna be the new normal? We'll see. We'll see, man.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's gonna be hanging out with masks and gloves on. Yeah, what's up, man?
I know. I don't like that. I've been wearing masks at work, and it's so freaking annoying. Man. People are crazy.
Hope everyone's staying safe out there, but yeah, definitely some trying times with all this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. But on top of everything else, we got a lot of sports talking in.
The NFL and UFC, man. Whew.
Yeah.
The only sports popping off right now. I mean, everyone else is kind of at a standstill. Baseball. I mean, I think we're doing much baseball this year.
I haven't heard any more about what they're trying to do.
It's surprising. I mean, that's one sport you look at it. If you're at a position you played baseball, Lewis, you're at a position on the field, you're not within 50, 60 feet of the guy next to you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, infield's a little different, but outfield, nowhere close to each other, minimal contact, man. So that's a sport I'm surprised they haven't got up and going, a little more yet.
They've had the talks, what they're going to do. And I was here in Arizona,
electronic strike zone, double headers, man. If it's going to get to that, let's just do away with we're already missing out. We've already missed out.
Yeah.
Just do away. I want it to be normal when it starts up. I don't want to watch a baseball game and, this guy's throwing a complete game in the 7th inning and, game over. It's just like that's kind of dumb. That kind of defeats the purpose of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I was hearing all kind of things and, we'll see.
NBA, I don't even know if they get going again. Are we even going to get into the rest of the season, Mitch? Does LeBron get to finish his dream season?
So far, those cities that they got the loosened restrictions, the Georgia, the Texas, NBA says starting May 1st, they're going to allow some of those people to come back and practice in their facilities. So start to get the ball rolling. Maybe we can see some summertime basketball around that July.
Yeah.
Maybe fall, that early August window. Might be pushed back a little more, but
It's same season when we start up, though, right? Like,
how they would do it, I think they
we
if
start
they're
fresh
ready
with
to
new
pick up
records.
MVP, I think they'd only give them at least like a 2-week training games, basically, where you would just play everybody for 2 weeks and then boom, playoffs right away.
Oh, okay. I like
Wow.
that.
I don't
But
know.
we
I
need
just feel like
sports.
it would be it's not going to feel the same. I don't know, but I mean, I'll take anything at this point. But it's like
At this point, we
Yeah.
will take anything.
And I wasn't hating on this LeBron season, and I don't know. I just don't want it to look like when he gets to the playoffs or whatever. It's just because the season got halved or shortened.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a win-win for anyone at this point. I'll tell you, the people who are really winning right now is Golden State, the Brooklyn Nets, all those teams who are kind of waiting for their stars to come back. It's like, hey, let's let this season not even be in the record books, man. Like, let's put an asterisk next to it and
Perfect.
it needs to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Gosh.
Golden State, man. Like, hey, if there's no champion this year, the dynasty ain't over yet, right? Dynasty's still alive.
First round pick this summer.
First round pick. I mean, boom, they're back in championship form next season, and we might be watching a Steph Curry 10-part docuseries. When we're older.
Oh my gosh.
Telling our son, I remember that Steph Curry right there. He shot the ball from everywhere.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Oh,
I hope all those people that bandwagon the Warriors and they got their Steph Curry jerseys at the local Buffalo Wild Wings, they're gonna blow the dust off it and bring it back out.
Come back to reality.
Yeah, geez, we'll see, man. God.
Definitely looking on the basketball topic. I'm definitely looking forward to watching part 3 and 4 to our boy Jordan tonight. That's for dang sure.
Yeah, definitely. That was honestly better than I thought. I thought it was gonna be another Jordan documentary.
Juice was getting going. I mean, because I knew about Jordan, I knew his title runs, but I just didn't know the little details and things like the Scotty, the injury. I didn't know all that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, and I thought I knew a lot about basketball, but I didn't know. This last season, Scotty was injured. He didn't even end up wanting to come back and playing with the Bulls. So I'm interested to see how all that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely him being not paid, all that stuff. Just little details I didn't know about that.
Well, this one's more about Dennis Rodman. These episodes.
Yeah, I mean, well, at the end of the episode 2,
Right.
they were getting the juice on Scotty. I think it's going to start off with some good stuff, finishing off talking about Scotty and whatnot, and how he either comes back or doesn't come back, and then it's going to get into Rodman, man.
Yeah.
So.
I hope they touch on because I was watching a documentary on it on the WWE Network and during all that, like when they went to the series with Utah. Rodman is supposed to be at practices, supposed to be doing this and that, and he's going to wrestling shows with Hulk Hogan, and he's skipping out on practices and doing all this nonsense. I hope they talk.
You heard in episode 2 he wanted a vacation.
Yeah,
because he said he wasn't used to being an outstanding citizen, so he wanted a vacation when Scotty was coming back, man. Because he had to do everything right because he was the new number 2 when he was out. So definitely a good documentary. I'm looking forward to tonight. 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, and then Mitch is 3 hours behind, so he's got a whole different time zone.
It'll be on 6 o'clock out here.
Yeah, but
it's 2 episodes, so 9 to 10, episode 3.
Episode 4.
10 to 11, episode 4.
You can't watch them back on the ESPN network?
You can, the ESPN app. You can watch them back.
I was looking for them.
I've already watched episode 2 like 3 times, man.
Right.
I just, I'm trying to get all the details and not miss any of those little details in the story.
Yeah. Well, off of that, well, I was going to piggyback off of that with these NBA players. They're taking a nice break, and I see all of them playing a whole lot of Call of Duty and streaming and, just having fun with that. I hope they haven't rusted up and lost some of the touch they had.
As an athlete, you already like to play video games as it is, but you got to be a professional athlete, so you got to put that time in.
Yeah.
To grind and whatnot in your craft. But I mean, when do you get the time to just play video games, man?
Yeah.
So probably loving life, honestly.
What do you guys think of this battle royale that they have? this new battle royale everyone's playing. It seems to be the
It's
hottest
hot, man. Everyone seems to love it. You know.
Yeah.
Wish we could get our crazy Romanian on here, our Call of Duty expert, man, our buddy Casey. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good game, man. I'd be
I'll be
lying
right
to
back.
say I didn't play it.
I'm doing this show.
Looks like we had an interruption, ladies and gents.
Thank you.
Oh man, you can't script this shit.
Oh, no, it's, you know, you're quarantined and you're limited meals and whatnot. This is a big
Oh
move.
man. Well,
Freaking,
did we touch up on everything, Lou? Did we touch up on all our topics, man, for the
yeah,
day?
for the most part, you know, this is our first show, and you know, many more to come. And you know, I'm glad I got you guys on here. And
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to many more shows.
oh yeah,
Hopefully the sports world can give us more to talk about in these upcoming weeks, man. And it's been kind of dead out there, so
well,
we'll
we
see.
had some time to, you know, gather up some good topics and have things to talk about. But
Exactly. Yes, sir.
we're gonna try and do these maybe twice a month here. You know, I'll try and update it on Instagram, Justin's Facebook, and you know, if Mitch wants to do it on his social media platforms, he can do that as well. And you know, we're gonna upload this on YouTube and then put some on Instagram as well. And you know, you can follow me at Lewis Montana. You follow Justin at JKime7. Mitch, what's your Instagram?
King Mitchie.
King Mitchie.
King Mitchie in the flesh.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to do some more streaming for playing the Call of Duty. I'm gonna make it on Twitch or Mixer, and we'll try to put those games up and let everyone just, you know, bring more content to the fans. And
Hey, man, show love. We need all the love out here.
yeah, and we're definitely the top team winning all over the county and farther on the world. So, you know, I want to see how to win, then you can just follow us and see how it's done. Definitely. But, you know, this is a great time doing this. I like it. We'll do another one. Until next time, your host, Luis Havaya, Lewis Montana,
Peace.
JCon7.
Out.
It's been
Bye,
real.
fellas.
Peace.